Hey, this is Elizabeth with Mad for Macrame. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to crochet this beautiful seamless basket. We will be using this t-shirt yarn from Handy Knots. You can also find an all-inclusive kit on her shop. I'll put the link in the description. What makes this basket seamless is we're going to close each round using the tail. So I'm going to leave my tail about 50 inches long. If you want to create a bigger basket, make sure that your tail is 5 inches long per round. For round 1, we're going to start with a magic ring. Wrap the yarn around 3 fingers, flip your hand over and create that X on the back. Then grab your crochet hook. I'm using an 8mm. Insert your hook and pull that second piece of yarn under and twist. That will create a loop on your hook. Now we need to chain 1 to lock it in place. I like to use my pinky to wiggle the yarn up on my hook and then pull that loop through. Now we're going to make 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. To do that, you insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull that loop through. You should have 6 V's. Now to close the magic ring, grab your tail and you want to make sure to pull it, give it a good tug and pull that center nice and tight. Instead of closing this round off using the invisible join, we're going to actually close with our tail. So to do that, you need to remove your hook, pull the working yarn very gently, and that will disconnect these 2 loops. Now insert your hook back under those 2 loops, grab the tail, and we're going to yarn over and pull through with the tail. Now we need to create a fake stitch to close this. So the first stitch on this round, you're going to insert your hook from behind that V, pull the tail through towards the back, flip your work over, and then on the last stitch on that round, you're going to pull that tail through those back 2 loops. So insert your hook from the back. It goes through the center of the last stitch on that round and pull the tail through. This will close round 1. I like to keep the tail on my right side and my working yarn on the left side. This keeps me from getting confused on which one the tail is as I'm stitching. For round 2, we're going to increase using waistcoat stitches. So to begin, you're going to insert your hook in the front V where the tail is actually sticking out of the back. That V will be directly in front of it. So pull up a loop and then chain 1. Now we're going to create 2 waistcoat stitches in each V, giving ourselves a total of 12 stitches around. So insert your hook. The V's are sometimes hard to see. They're directly underneath the stitches where they join on top. So insert your hook in the V, and then check the back and make sure you're splitting those 2 posts in the back. You pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both. Now going back in that same V, you're going to do it again. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. You're going to do that for each V in the round. As you're stitching, it's really important to check the back. So you're going through the front V, and you want to make sure that you're also going through the back V too. So each V will get 2 waistcoat stitches. On the very last waistcoat stitch in this round, that's when we close with the tail, and I will meet you back and show you how to do that. Okay, I made it to my last waistcoat stitch. You're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop, just like you have been. But before you yarn over and pull through, you're going to switch to your tail. Just on this last stitch. So yarn over and pull through both using that tail. And then you're going to create another invisible close to close off this round, just like we did before. So on the first stitch of the round, insert your hook from the back of that top V and pull it through. And then on the last stitch in that round, you're going to insert your hook from the back under both of those back loops. Sometimes this is really tight, so you may have to loosen it up. So insert your hook and then pull your tail through. It pulls that tail through the center of the last stitch on the round. Make any adjustments so your stitches are all the same size, and that closes round 2. To begin round 3, just like before, you need to insert your hook through that front V where the tail is sticking out of the back, and pull up a loop and chain 1. We're going to go back to our waistcoat stitches, and in this round you're going to place an increase on every 3rd stitch. So for the first one, you're going to place an increase. So 2 waistcoat stitches will go in that first V. In the second V, you'll place a single. And in the third V, you'll place another single. You're going to repeat that same sequence throughout the round. I'll meet you back and show you how to close with the tail. To close with the tail, on that last stitch, pull up a loop and then switch to the tail when you yarn over. When you pull it through both loops, go ahead and pull it all the way through and then close the round. To begin round 4, you need to insert your hook in that V we just created, pull up a loop, and chain 1. For round 4, we're going to place an increase on every 4th stitch. So on the first, you'll increase, so place 2 waistcoat stitches in that first V. In the second V, you'll place a single. In the third, a single. And then in the fourth, a single. Then you'll go back and repeat that sequence again. So you'll increase and then 3 singles, increase, 3 singles. If you get one of the DIY kits on Handy Knots, you'll actually receive this whole spool of t-shirt yarn, so you could make your basket much bigger. You'll see at the end how much yarn I actually have left. I could have made my base probably 10 rounds wide. I'll meet you back and show you how to close the round. I made it to my last waistcoat stitch. So we're going to pull up a loop and then switch our yarn to the tail, yarn over, and pull through. Now you can close the round. To start the next round, we're going to insert our hook in that last V we created, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then chain 1. For round 5, you're going to increase on every 5th stitch. So in this first V, you'll place 2 waistcoat stitches, that's the increase, and then you will make 4 single waistcoat stitches, and then repeat that same sequence all the way around. I'll finish up this round and show you how to start the next. Again, we're going to close with our tail on that last waistcoat stitch. We're going to pull up a loop and then switch to the tail, yarn over and pull it all the way through. And then close this round just like we did before. I'm going to create one more round. So I'm going to insert my hook in that last V, pull up a loop and chain 1 to get ready for round 6. For round 6, we're going to increase on every 6th stitch. So the first is always an increase, and then you'll make 5 single waistcoat stitches after. If you want to make your base bigger, you can continue with this same pattern. So round 7, you would increase on every 7th stitch. Round 8, increase on every 8th. It's up to you really. I'm going to finish up this round and then I'll meet you back. So to close the base off, just continue like we did before. You're going to close with your tail. Now that we're finished with our base, we're going to start making the side walls. Just like we did before, you're going to insert your hook in that last V, pull up a loop and chain 1. And instead of making any increases, we're just going to continue with waistcoat stitches all the way around, and then once we get to the end, we're going to close with the tail, just like we made the base, except there are no increases. So for rounds 7 through 9, continue working waistcoat stitches and then close with your tail. I'll meet you back for round 10 and show you how to make this really cool design on the outside of your basket. I also wanted to mention that after you've created a few waistcoat stitches, you should see the sides start to turn up. If you don't, you may want to tighten up on your tension just a little. I just finished 3 rounds of waistcoat stitches, and for round 10, we're going to create this pattern by going in the back loops. So in that last stitch we created, where the tail is sticking out, on the stitches that run across the top, we're talking about that back V piece. So you're going to insert your hook in the back loop and in the other back loop behind it. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and chain 1. For round 10, you're going to work single crochet stitches in the back loops all the way around. This will create a little pattern on the outside of your basket. So you insert your hook in those back loops. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both, just like before. I'm going to finish this round up, and I'll meet you back at the end where we close with the tail and show you how to start round 11. On that last single crochet stitch, you're going to insert your hook in those back loops and pull up a loop with your working yarn, then switch to the tail, yarn over and pull it all the way through. Now you can close this round. I love the pattern it adds to the outside of the basket. This is our last round, round 12. We're going to make slip stitches. So on the top V, closest to your working yarn, you want to insert your hook and pull up a loop, and then under the next stitch, you go directly under it, insert the hook, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through. So again, pull up a loop, and then you pull that loop through the one on your hook. You're going to do this all the way around, and then at the end, we're going to cut our yarn and then hide our ends. I think this basket turned out so pretty. Now that we're done with our slip stitches, you can go ahead and cut the yarn and then cut your tail. Go ahead and grab your darning needle, pull out your hook and pull the yarn all the way through and thread your needle. Now weave in your ends the best you can. I like to try to make a fake stitch on the outside. So I'll go from the front and under that stitch, and then back through the middle, that last stitch. Once the yarn is on the inside, then you can tuck it and hide it wherever you'd like. Same goes for the tail. Once you have those ends hidden, go ahead and clip off the excess, and you're done. I love how this basket turned out. I like the pattern on the outside and how it's seamless on the inside and on the bottom. Check out those links in my description. Grab some of this beautiful yarn or one of the DIY kits available on Handy Knots. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.